So we won a competition with a whole bunch of our fellow architects to do what was called a media pavilion in the Expo 2002 for Switzerland. This is in Lake Neuchâtel. You can see this little tiny puff there. It's a little piece of cotton on that wonderful kind of map that you get when you buy chocolates there. And we sort of decided that we wanted to make our media pavilion have nothing to do with media at all, but simply to be of the site, literally grown out of Switzerland, out of the direct site. And so we decided we would make a cloud. And that's what we did. We made this media pavilion that you can walk out to and be inside of. And it's about the size of a football field, 30 meters, 40 meters long, I think that's right, 30 meters wide, elevated another 20 meters in the air, and lozenge-shaped, sitting on 4 columns, a tensegrity structure, the world's largest tensegrity structure that had been made, with a little bar on top that's called the Angel Deck, that serves nothing but water. Serves all the different waters that we could find of the world and that they would let us import into Switzerland. That's the structure. We worked with this fantastic structural engineer who works with long-span experimental structures, sitting on 4 columns with tension cables, holding up a deck that you could walk on. And this is what it looks like when it's going. Well, it looked like it was taken down after 6 months. Imploded. I mean, so strange. And this is it at night. And then walking up the ramps to the blur, also on sort of translucent fiberglass material that we developed with a local contractor there. And what happens is when you get out there, contrary to what you would expect in a media pavilion, there is no media. In fact, there's nothing to see at all. It's just that. And what we love about it is it so purely illustrates one of our fascinations, which is about vision and visuality, and how our culture is obsessed with vision. And by stripping it away in that pavilion, we sort of made people realize how visually obsessed we are. It became an icon nonetheless, and was on sugar packets and umbrellas. And in Switzerland, when you make it to a bar of chocolate, you know that you've done pretty well. I'm just going to continue with these silly water projects. This is the snow show that happened a few years back, and we were invited to do something. It's on a frozen lake bed, Finland. And what we decided to do was to import all of this imported water and make ice out of all of this imported water in the lake bed. So we carved out these cubes, these giant ice cubes essentially, and literally brought in these boxes and boxes of Evian and you can see them there from all over the world. You can see a theme developing with our water bar blur. And it froze, and then we had all of the logos etched into each of the cubes so that you would know what water it was that you were standing on. I'm just rushing right through all of these things. Jumping over to architecture, which we also do, our first major public building was the Institute of Contemporary Art in Boston. And we were awarded this project through an interview process. It wasn't a design competition exactly. And one of the topics of discussion that we engaged the client in was the position of architecture, the role of architecture in museum making. And it was our assertion that it seemed that there were these two sort of ends of museum making. There's this one that's, look at me, don't look at the art, and then there's this other that's, all very, very background and very polite and respectful. And And we were amused by that sort of duality, but really decided that that is not where museums need to operate, and in fact wanted to strike someplace else.